Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu. Today we are going to talk about what are we going to talk about again? We are going to talk about moving on. Right, guys, moving on. So I just want to share some light in terms of moving on because, like, looking at us, our age group, my 20s, the way we move on is usually in a messy way, it's usually in an ugly way, it's usually the other party trying to prove a point or the other one not wanting to understand how they hurt the other one. So when we move on, we want to move on kish kish. We never want to move on peacefully. So today I want to talk about the essence of moving on peacefully, right? And also the essence of, so I'm going to talk about the essence of moving on peacefully and the essence of being intentional in relationships, right? You need to be intentional. Whatever you do it because you want, and do it because you want, like, do it wholeheartedly, do it excellently. So firstly, we're going to talk about moving on, guys. Here's the thing. Sometimes when people exit our lives or when they don't want us in their lives, it's not because they're being mean to us or because they're trying to be funny. Yes, there are incidents where people are trying to be funny, but in some instances it's because people have grown. They are growing, and their process of growth or their process of evolving does not require you to be a part of their lives. Not that you're a bad person, but you're just not good for their growth at that particular moment, right? So sometimes we tend to catch feelings when people leave our lives or when people don't want to be in our lives anymore. We tend to catch feelings and think they're being weird and think they're being funny and stuff like that, forgetting that sometimes it's because they're growing, and sometimes growth requires you to let go of your old interests, your old friends, your old colleagues, your old workplace, because you are growing and you realize something when you're growing. You tend to change interests. Yesterday you liked bungee jumping, today you like a different thing. So that's why it's important to understand and respect boundaries. Respect it when a person is saying, listen here, I'm growing and I can't be with you. Don't try force yourself into their lives. Understand it. And also, even when you decide to say, you know what, you're outgrowing a certain people, a certain interest or certain places. When you decide, when actually not when you decide, because sometimes yes, you can decide to grow, but sometimes growth catches you off guard. So when that happens to you, don't be a person who wants to move messy. Now you're being awkward, you're being weird, you are making things weird for everyone. You're being mean, you're being arrogant. Don't be that person. If you can, and if possible, even the Bible says it, scripture says it. I love referencing scripture. In Romans 12 verse 18, it says, if possible, you need to leave situations, places, and people or whatever that you need to leave peacefully, if possible, unless it's a situation whereby I'm so sorry guys, it's a situation whereby maybe you can't go see that person physically, or you can't have conversation because maybe they're abusive in nature, or maybe they'll attack you. Then you can just leave and not leave a note or anything of sort. But now when you can, or if you can, be that person who says, you know what, we are grown-ups and this is where this stops. This is where I would like to leave this relationship because it doesn't serve me anymore. And guys, if anything, it is allowed to say, because something doesn't serve your purpose, it doesn't serve who you are anymore, it's allowed to move away from it. It's allowed to excuse yourself from it. It's not a bad thing. But how you do it, make sure that you move peacefully. Don't be a person who moves mercy. When you move, you want to cause drama and all of that. It doesn't work. And then be a communicator, guys. Communication solves a lot of things. Sometimes you may figure out that you want to move on from certain people, certain things, because you misunderstood a certain thing. But when you communicate with them, when you let them know that, you know what, this is where I'm at in life, and this is how I feel about certain things, and this is where I want to go, even if you don't explain lengthily, because there's this phrase that says, Sibadala, people know what they did to you. Yes, some people know, but some really honestly don't, because it's not every time where you hurt another person or every time where you make another person feel uncomfortable that you are away. Sometimes we do horrible things to people. We talk to them in a way they don't appreciate. We say mean things about them without realizing how much it's hurting them or how much it has an impact on them. So we think, oh no, it's chilled, you know what? And until the person confronts you or until the person expresses how they feel about a certain thing, you know? So don't be that person. Be a person who communicates, or a person who rather leaves situations peacefully. And don't be that person, guys, who disappears. You know what? Because it's important to make your priorities clear, to clarify yourself that we are no longer friends, we are no longer dating, we are no longer in the same lane or whatever. Because, you know, if, like, I would make an example with a romantic relationship. If you're not going to end it explicitly and say, you know what, it's over, you and I are no longer dating, are you aware that you leave the door opened for a person to come in and out as they please? But if you've told them and said, you know what, this is it, this is over, they will know that they can't just enter your life and exit and do whatever they please, you know? So it's important to be explicit about what you want and be vocal about it, and be kind in your vocalness. Vocalness doesn't mean you need to be rude to people or arrogant to people. Be kind, thoughtful, and straightforward and honest with yourself and the other party. That's what's important. And then I want to talk about being intentional in terms of relationships. Guys, you need to be intentional. One thing that I'll tell you, like I said, I was talking about the process of growth and outgrowing certain things, certain people. So it's important that you're intentional in your relationships, because if you are not intentional, a person can literally slip through your hands without you realizing. A person you were best friends with yesterday, a person who was the best boyfriend, best girlfriend, best spouse or whatever yesterday, can literally be a stranger to you because you've stopped being intentional. Being intentional means consistently wanting to know the person you're with better, consistently wanting to know what they like today, what they didn't like yesterday, consistently wanting to know if their dreams, their aspirations, their goals are changing. Because also remember, as people, we watch different things, we listen to different music, we in different ministries all together, and all of those things changes our perspective, it changes our goals, the books we read as well. So when you start reading a certain book, you start opening up to a certain way, you know, and now maybe your hobbies now change, how you see a certain thing now changes. But if you are not intentional about the other part who's going through a process of change, you would never realize that change, and you won't be able to support them and love them accordingly, you know, you won't be able to give them the love they deserve according to the new person that they are. I don't believe people change, but I believe people become the best versions of who they are. People get closer to self. So when a person gets closer to self, there are changes, you know, there's a differentiation between what they were yesterday. Today you can offer me a glass of wine and I'm so excited. Then 3 years later, you can't want to offer me a glass of wine again because 4 years ago it's what I liked. It's important that you find out what is it that I like now. And if you're an intentional friend or boyfriend or whatever, you know, in whichever way we relate, then you would know that, you know what, Yvonne, I understand that, you know, it's been 3 months. You know, I want to know if black is your favorite color. I want to know if you still like McDonald's. You know, I want to know if you still love traveling. You know, those kind of things. Take your time with people in your life. And here's the thing, guys. Stop being friends with people you don't like. Stop girlfriending or boyfriending people you don't like. Be with people you like so that you don't get tired of knowing them, so that you don't curb them and actually put them in a box and say, this is it, this is who you are. You know, this is not completely me. I'd always tell this to people, it's as a joke, confirm, I'm unpredictable. And this is because every day I discover something new about myself. We used to have this conversation with my friends that what we are, it was in tertiary, right? Now, finally, what we are at that particular time, the kind of drinks we drank, the kind of restaurants we went to, was determined by where we were. Firstly, environment, and secondly, affordability. We got allowances from our parents, and then thirdly, the people we hang around with, you know. But obviously, now what we liked changed when we went into the workspace. Now you're seeing the corporate hands, the corporate base, and now you're seeing a different paycheck. You know, now you know you can opt for a certain brand of food. You now don't have to go for a no-name brand. You can now say, you know what, I don't want to have rainbow chicken Vianas. I want to have Ascot chicken Vianas, because now you have money enough to cater for your needs. So I would always say this, even I don't know myself well enough, because there's things I'm not yet exposed to. There's certain things that when we get exposed to, they change our mentality. Yes, you have an idea of who you are, but if I can tell you, the only thing I can be certain of is I'm born of God. That is one thing I'm certain of. But the other things, I know today I wake up, oh my God, you know what, I love family law, and tomorrow I wake up, contract law is the best, and the other day I meet the best business person, and then I'm like, oh no, I should go into business law. That's the thing. People change every now and then, and when you are intentional, you would realize that your partner is growing, your partner is evolving, your partner is expanding, and you would realize that when all of this is happening, now you need to also align yourself with how you love them. Like for instance, if yesterday McDonald's made me so happy, but today what makes me happy is a walk at the park. You would only know that if you're intentional, because you would realize that I'm no longer having McDonald's. And also another thing we don't realize, if we're not intentional about people in our lives, we end up irritating them by loving them in a way that they don't like, by loving them in a way that doesn't serve them anymore, or by supporting them in a way that doesn't serve them anymore. So it is important to find out what's going on, what is a person up to, what they like at that particular moment, and where they're headed. That's what's important. And more than anything, I'd say, like I said, guys, don't be with people you don't like. Don't be with people that make you cringe just to say, okay, she looks beautiful, so we'll look insta good. It doesn't do you good for your soul. Don't be with boyfriends you don't like, girlfriends you don't like, just because you're insta good, you picture good. Be with a person that feeds your soul, and also you can feed their soul, and you can grow together, or whatever the case may be. But don't be with people you don't like. Don't be with people you don't enjoy. Be in the midst of people that you enjoy their company, you enjoy how they do things. Guys, I think I'm even speaking from a personal perspective. Like, I'd say, if anything, I like my people, and I'd always ensure that whoever I'm rolling with, I like. I don't roll with people that I don't like. And me not liking you like that doesn't mean I'm going to be mean or uncivil. I'm going to be civil. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be helpful to you. But there are people that I allow into my space, people that know my business so much. Those are the people that I really, really like, people that I enjoy doing stuff with. And I make sure, because here's the other thing. When you're with people you don't like, you would feel the need to always impress them. You'd feel the need to always try and change yourself. You'd feel the need to always try fit in. But when you're with people you really like, and they like you, and you're equally yoked, and you have mutual ground, you'd realize something. You can be vulnerable. You'd realize something. You don't have to worry about looking a certain way, dressing a certain way, because they like you for you, and you like them for who they are as well. So that's very important, guys. And also, guys, experience people for what they are, man. Sometimes just don't complicate stuff. If a person is amazing, just embrace that amazingness, And it's also important knowing that sometimes a person is amazing, but they're not your brand. You don't vibe, and it's okay. It doesn't mean now you need to sit down and start saying mean things about them or anything like it. Like, you can see a person. There's people that think I'm amazing, but I'd never be their friend. I'd never be in their space like that, but they think I'm amazing, and which is fine. There's also people that I really like, people that I really admire, people that I really think they are amazing, but I can never go there and sit and start discussing my issues with them. And not because they're bad people or anything like that, they're just not my cup of tea. So also learning to understand how people relate with other people, or how people relate with you, is very important. Don't be a person to force situations or force interactions, because relationships are beautiful when they grow organically. Relationships are beautiful when you enjoy each other. And it's beautiful when you continuously knowing a person. Like, I think maybe I'm even so passionate about this because I'm in process of knowing someone. So I'm sure you guys are wondering who's this someone, but I'm in a process of knowing someone, and every day talking to them, every day conversating with them is just so beautiful, guys. It's like we never run out of things to say. It's always, yo, dude, we need to sleep. Like it's really now in the AMs, and we always have more stuff. Like we always interested, like even in how our day is going, what we ate, and those kind of things. I know it's silly conversations, but I think you also get to understand where a person is headed at when you know how their typical day is, when you know what makes them happy or what irritates them or whatever the case may be. So you guys are welcome to leave your sentiments relating to being intentional and how you move on from people. But remember, everything you do, be kind and be peaceful. So you are welcome to leave your comments, you're welcome to like, you're welcome to subscribe and share. And I'm sure you guys can see hey, my face. Untombo looks gorgeous. I was doing my graduation shoot. I don't know if it's going to be before or after, but yeah, soon something is going to pop. Lots of love and light. Thank you.